Good morning, guys. Today we're in the BMW M4 G82 competition xDrive 2022. Anyway, it's Cenos-T'Challa or Cenos Black Panther. Whichever name speaks to you, that's the one you can use. You do recognize where the name is from. The car is black. Black Panther was a nice character to name the car after. So that's how we got there. And today we want to try do something. We decided to test something out. I am not too sure if we can say we let our intrusive thoughts win, but want to try something out. We want to see what happens when we pair a catted downpipe, a sports catted downpipe, to an uncutted system all the way back. So no cuts, no OPFs. Because the car, the way it works is you have a primary cut, you have a secondary cut, and then you have OPFs, and then you have a resonator. So we want to remain with, we moved from a 600 cell cutted factory downpipe to a 200 cell cutted aftermarket downpipe. And then on the rest of the system, we remove the secondary catalytic converters and we remove the OPF filter, because for us in this side of the world, that's a lot of filters to have when you're trying to dissipate heat. So we do that. Then we are not really into pushing the car for power at the moment. For that, there are other cars that we intend to do that on. So for this, it's just we are letting our thoughts, our intrusive thoughts win here, so that we can experiment on stuff here and then maybe we bring them out to you on other cars. So basically that's what we intend to do. We expect to get louder sound out of this and probably better temperature thresholds moving forward. The only thing we're waiting to see is how much the sports cut might affect us moving forward as we keep pushing, maybe as we move to bigger fuel injectors, as we move to maybe a hybrid turbo. We want to see where that will get us, but for now we are sticking to the sports cut, trying to be refined people and care for the environment. So that's what we are doing. As you can see, this is the M4. It has the carbon bucket seats. You can also see the slots here and here. So generally that's the car. We shall update you on the process. It's going to be a bit of a tedious process because we have to cut up somewhere, and then we remove the rest of the parts, which is not that bad. Then we put it on and then we check for any leaks in case, just in case, because sometimes these fitments do not work just 100%. For example, on a previous G80, we had to modify the oxygen sensor harness because there was conflict between it versus the aftermarket downpipe we installed. So we'll wait and see if we run into any major challenges on this one, but we expect it to be a bit smooth, significantly smoother, because we picked out the kit knowing that fitment was the least of our worries. What we'd get into a potential conundrum with, and that's a future problem, is whether the primary cut still being there, even if in a higher flow format, will come and give us a conflict. So we'll wait and we see. So stay Cenos tuned. We've done this G82, we'll do a G80 as well for you. We already did a G80 M3, still a competition, an M3 comp xDrive, but we only did the primary cuts on that one. So we will see whether we'll do that video up for you guys, or whether we will just wait till we do primary cut, secondary cut, or OPF modification similar to this one on another G80, which will be coming soon, hopefully somewhere ideally within the next 2 months. So we'll look into it. You might see that online, but if not, if you don't see it soon, just wait for the other one. It's going to be a more worth it wait. So yeah, that's it in relation to that.
You can get some differential shots between the factory honeycomb over here and the aftermarket honeycomb. It shows you a bit about flow dynamics. Everything else is maintained the same. The fitment is the same. It's just sizing. And then this is the second guy. Same thing, same fitment with a slightly shorter and fatter flexi, but everything else is a similar match. Honeycombs as well, and this. So this guy definitely allows more flow than this
compared to the left.
Dexter's Lab Secret Sauce X.
Okay, so this is a brief overview from this angle, then we will get closer. We'll start from the back because there's more things to identify at the front. The back has this muffler. A muffler's job is basically to reduce the amount of sound exiting the exhaust system in general. So it's the last silencer that does the greatest job of reducing sound, because when a car is being produced, the amount of sound it makes is also a factor to consider. That is actually measured and it is subject to regulation. So that is the muffler. Then you come here, these are exhaust valves, which by the way some people change because there's a known habit of these exhausts not fully opening even when they're on sport mode. So what happens is you can change this with a Valvetronic valve that fully opens when you have it open. These are exhaust hangers similar to these. So the job is basically to facilitate mounting of this exhaust onto the car. Then this is a resonator, as you can see here. So you move from a muffler to a resonator. The resonator's job is basically to reduce resonance, courtesy of the engine naturally having vibrations as it works. So resonations, in a simpler term, refers to vibrations. So if you have a full exhaust without a resonator, what normally happens is you will get, people tend to experience headaches after driving for, let's say, 100, 150 kilometers consistently. So that's the job of the resonator, but it still contributes to noise or sound reduction. Then here we have the OPFs. So OPFs are basically auto particulate filters, or GPFs. They are mostly hear of that term on the newer cars because it was created to be, a secondary system that aims to reduce emissions as much as possible. Then here you have secondary catalytic converters. Then you have your primary catalytic converters here. So these are actually what are known as the downpipes. And you can see this, what you see here is what's known as a flex section. So on this car, this is how it hooks. It's a multi-piece system. So we have that there. Then we have this linkage comes here, like so. Then this catalytic converter, which is on the co-driver side in our country, because this is a right-hand drive car, comes here. So it's oriented like so. If you can notice, because if you paid attention here, you'd notice that these two are very close together. You'd wonder how they'd come to get onto the car, whereas this is this separate. The reason is because this basically mimics this section, which, as you can see, gets closer as it orients from the downpipes. So to give you another summary, these are the turbochargers sit here, because this is a twin turbo car. The turbochargers sit here. Then these are the primary catalytic converters. These are the secondary catalytic converters. These are what are known as the OPF filters, the auto particulate filters. This is the resonator. Then we move to the exhaust hangers. Then we move to the exhaust valves, left and right. Then we move to the muffler or the back box. And finally, we move to the exhaust tips. So that's how the system is. There's also this to consider. So this is a center brace. We can call it a center brace. It's a support brace that facilitates or enables car manufacturers to enhance the several support structures that they place in a car. So this car's brace is even on the engine bay. This is a center brace. This center brace is stock, and this is the upgraded one. So as you can see, this is a concave shape. It's like a dip. So this has a concave shape to be able to support this new exhaust shape, and because it's larger, and then it's less oval than this. So another thing we forgot to mention is, or rather now the difference, to put this into context, we are moving from this exhaust system to this, whereby we are removing these primary catalytic converters We've replaced them. These typically rated 4 to 600 cell. So we are moving that down to 200 cell downpipe, or rather 200 cell catted downpipe. Then we will not have these secondary cuts. As you can see, this gets replaced by a straight. We will also not have OPFs. That gets replaced by a straight, but we will have a resonator. So the resonator will move a bit further back because typically it should be somewhere closer to the middle. Then where this will be, this moves to now a H pipe to be able to connect it to the catalytic converter. So you'd find we need to cut this somewhere around here. Then we join it up. Then we put these braces beneath the car. The braces are typically located somewhere around here. So that's how that is. We'll get to show you the sound before and after. So stay tuned.
We're starting a pilot cut, then we'll just use a regular hacksaw. And we've already marked our cut points on both pipes. So we flick on our guide and adjust the speed.
Nice.
We are here, we are done. We are happy with the results. The car is louder. Some are saying pretty loud. I think it is relatively loud. It is not that noisy, it's manageable, because which is also what we were targeting anyway, because when you put in the primary cuts, you don't make it very open, so it becomes a bit more manageable, you know. So we are happy. We feel very accomplished given that we started this early in the morning. You should expect to see more comparisons between this system versus others in the coming days, because we have another upcoming project on G80 to remove most of the cuts, and then we listen to how that is. So in as much as it might not be a one-to-one, because we'll do an M4 now against an M3, we will still give you that sound difference, and we can actually do you one better. We can actually probably do you, because you have a stock M3, We have an M3 with a cutless downpipe, but everything else is still on. And then we have this with the primary cuts on, but everything is off. So we can give you a comparison of all those three cars, and then it will enable you guys to make the decision for yourselves on what you will want, as well as tell us which one you think sounds the best. So we typically don't get time to do content because content is a full-time job. And unfortunately, it just doesn't tend to be something that we do have ability to do very often. But we'll make the effort to give you as much content as we can, maybe this year. Content on new cars, content on different cars, because for example now, this gives you, the viewer, access to what it's like having experience with this car, which is a one of one. So this will be the easiest way. So we can channel that through this method more and more times. We'll make the effort. The videographer behind the camera said he will avail himself more this year. So at least that will work in everyone's favor. We will also try on our side to avail ourselves more and more for this year. So definitely stay Cenos tuned for more content.